Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless for tuning in. God bless you. God bless you. Hope you enjoyed your day. God bless. Well, today I want to share with you 5 ways of knowing if someone is selfish or not. 5 ways of knowing if someone is selfish. 5 ways I'll be sharing with you to know if somebody is selfish, self-centered. People, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time when the Bible speaks about it. People be lovers of themselves. People are just caring about themselves, about all ulterior motives. Be careful of people that have ulterior motives. You won't know that until later, when the truth reveals itself, that they're self-centered and they're only in for their own motives. And you won't know that when time rolls on, then you get to really know somebody. Whether you're in a relationship, romantic relationship with them, you'll see some signs to know if they're self-centered and selfish. If that person keeps talking about themselves and only looking out for themselves and only basically doing things just to lace their own pockets and they're not looking out for you. Or if you ever been on a date with somebody that all they're doing is talking about themselves. They really just, you tell them about somebody you tell them about yourself, they may be going through some tough times or rough times, and maybe you tell them about the loved one that passed away, and then they can just say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Then they continue, they're not consoling you, they're not embracing you in your time of need, when you need consoling, but yet they're just really talking about themselves. It goes back to the conversation just derives about themselves. Oh, what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm doing. They didn't hear what you said. They heard what you said. Basically, they heard what you said, but they're more concerned about their desires. They're more concerned about what they gotta say. They're more concerned about what they gotta do. They don't concern you with. They don't concern that you're going through a tough time or going through a rough patch in your life. That's a selfish person. And you, as time goes on and roll on, you can find out who is selfish. We're living in a world where people will be lovers of themselves, what the Bible says, where people will be just worried about themselves and just basically feeding their own pleasures, feeding their own desires, their own pleasures and their own desires. They're not concerned with no one else. They don't see no one else. And usually those type of people do not make good mates. Usually those are the type of people that do not make, they usually wind up in divorce. More of the time, you ever hear people with multiple marriages? You ever heard people that marry about 3 times or maybe 2 times or 4 times? Or maybe about 4 times. Let's say about 3 times, 4 times. Sometimes you gotta discover, like, why you been married so much? Or why you keep dating somebody and in less than a month you always break up with them. It could be something to that. When you're a person that's always looking out for Dolo and always looking out for yourself and always could just worried about yourself, sometimes it takes time to figure you out, but eventually, by the little things, for example, like, let's say for little things, let's say when you're going shopping and you're the person that's going shopping, and sometimes she's going shopping or he's going shopping, and usually, and let's say they're going, for example, clothes, like little clothes, they're buying clothes for themselves, and they're just buying clothes for themselves. But if you want to appreciate somebody, consider them. Sometimes you say, okay, I have a little extra, maybe I can buy a little bit for I'm thinking about you, so I just thought about you, so I just wanted to pick you up something. So I just thought about you. I had the extra money, so I just thought about you. I wanted to pick something. I wanted to just being considerate. In other words, the person that you're with, you're just considering them because you're with them. Or for example, now you with a woman, you with a woman that when she's going, let's say she's going to buy, let's say she's going to buy, for example, she's going to buy some food. Maybe at a takeout restaurant, or maybe at at the diner or maybe some kind of takeout restaurant. Maybe not at a diner, but like a takeout spot. And she's gonna buy some bubble tea or something like that. And then all of a sudden now she calls you up. She calls you up and then she says, "Honey, I'm buying bubble tea. Would you like some?" That's being considerate. You're thinking about them. Without even, it's like a natural thing. You're just thinking about your mate. Or, for example, men, when you're out and you're just going to buy maybe some little stuff, maybe buy a little food, you're just not going to say, "Okay, I want to buy a beef patty, and I'm at the bakery, and I'm gonna buy, and I'm gonna just see a little, and I'm gonna buy a little extra. But you know what? I have a little extra. I'm gonna just buy." And you call your lady, you call her and you say, "Honey, I'm at the bakery, the West Indian bakery down the block. Would you like a beef patty, or would you like some rice and peas to come? What would you want?" And because you know what, you're thinking about her, and vice versa, she's thinking about you. That's what makes relationships last. That's part of the end. That's part of it. What makes that's because you're thinking about the other person. You're not just thinking about Dolo. You're not just thinking about yourself. But let me give you 5 ways to know that somebody is selfish. 5 ways, ladies and gentlemen. And number 1, I'm going to go into it. Number 1 is having no regard for how their behavior impacts others. Now, if you see a person that behavior is irrational, the behavior is just, they don't care who's around them. Their cousin carrying on in front of little children. They either like they're just making it a hostile environment. And then you're taking, let's say for example now, you with your significant other, or you're with your elders. You're walking with your elders and you're with somebody, but yet she's cussing, she's carrying on, she's touching, or vice versa, he's touching his private part and saying using a lot of profanity in front of your folks. In other words, he's not respecting that there's other people around them. He's not considering and respecting that there's children, young children around them. Or vice versa, she's not respecting that there's children around her, or that your elderly or your folks, your parents are around her. In other words, she don't care. He or she doesn't care. The behavior is just lawless. It's just lewd. They don't care who's around them. It's because they're feeling that way. They're not respecting the people around them. That's number 1. Not respecting. You just have a nasty behavior and a reckless, nasty behavior, not caring who's around you. No, you don't care if little children that single-digit years that's looking at you. You don't care if your elderly folks that you're not respecting are looking at you. You don't care. You just care about how you feel at the moment. You're just emotional and you have irrational behavior. That's being self-centered and not caring about, because you have bad behavior, you're not caring about people around you. That's being inconsiderate. That's number 1. Number 2 is consistently acting in their own self-interest instead of meeting the needs of others. In other words, your own self-interest. In other words, like, for example, you're lying and you're taking all the money for yourself. In other words, it's like a bank robber. You're just taking all the money for yourself, not considering that the next person might need that money to pay their rent or to put food on the table. Or you're being a greedy, selfish person that's just thinking about themselves. And you're just taking. Like there's some scammers. They just take from people and not knowing that person that they took from, it was their last to feed their family. It was their last to pay a bill that they have, or a last to keep the roof over their head, and they have to pay the rent to keep the roof over their head and their family's head. Or to pay their mortgage. And that's what scammers do. They always take, they're not considerate of how the other person's gonna get by. They just take, and not considering the other person. That's what they do. Or they have people, had a buddy that told me, they have people like this, where they're lying about the money that they need. They're lying about the money that they're asking you for money because they know that you're going to give it to them. Not knowing that it's your last money, not knowing that you're not working at the moment at the time. But yet, they're using their child to say, you know what, my my daughter needs money to pay for her tuition for school, or my daughter needs money, I have no food on the table. They're lying to you, telling you that their daughter, or they're using their children to get money off of you. That's a person that's selfish and only using you, and they're using their children to take money off you, or they're using their child to take money off you. There's people like that in this world, that they'll use their own child, and they know they have the money, but they just use it because they know that you're going to give it. They take a kindness for weakness, and they know that you're going to give the money to them. So they use their kindness for weakness, and they lie to you, saying that they need the money, and they really don't need the money. They just use it, but they're using their child to manipulate you, to take the money from you, and they're using their child. You're playing with your emotions, but yet they know very well that their child don't need the money at the moment, at the time. So they lie to you. Be careful of people like that. There's people like that. There's gutter snipers like that. There's vipers like that. They will use their own children or their child to take money off of you. That's number 2. Consistently acting in their own self-interest instead of meeting the needs of others. That was number 2. Number 3 is having no empathy for the suffering of others or people. In other words, it's like, and you know, people, they trust. Sometimes you hear politicians and you just trust them. You just trust them because they know how to articulate. They know how to emotionally get you driven to vote for them. Some politicians. So what they do is they play with your emotions, and they know what you need, so they use words to get what they need, so they can get a vote from you. But not knowing that they're a fraud, knowing that they're a snake, and they'll take governmental resources off of you. They'll take money from you. They'll say that they're poor, and they'll say that they need the money, but yet they use the money to run their own campaigns out of the poor people's pocket. Or they use, like what's happening now, they'll lie and say that they'll use immigrants and say, okay, we're trying to help immigrants coming into the US, or help immigrants. So they use and manipulate you and thinking that they need it from the hardworking people, squeeze the hardworking people's pocket, take from you, and just lace their own pockets. There's people like that in this world. It's an evil world, manipulative world we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta be open to the game, because people got game. So they use people, squeeze a poor man's pocket, a hardworking man's pocket, or a less fortunate pocket, to lace their own pockets, to make them feel to get them gain more money off of you, and gain money from you, and leave you like little or no resources to get by. There's evil and wicked people like that. And I believe that was number 3. And number four is showing no remorse. Showing no remorse when people are hurt or in need. Showing no remorse. So in other words, self-centered people do this all the time. They see you have someone that's passed in your family, or someone that passed away in your family. Instead of giving you condolences and giving you and maybe embracing you at a time of need, when you do need it, they're just thinking about themselves. I mentioned that earlier in this video. They're just thinking about themselves. Be careful. And you'll know them. You get to know them. They have many ways of just thinking about themselves and talking about. You get to know them as time goes by. You get to know them. They just talk about themselves. What I gotta do. What I gotta do. And instead of knowing that, well, they're gonna lie to you and try to get maybe take some money off of you. In your time of need. Or what they'll do is use your kindness for weakness. And they'll lie and tell you that someone passed in their family, so they need the money. They'll lie and say that, well, I need the money desperately from you because, and they'll lie. And if you dig deep in their dirt, their loved ones will say, that's not true. So, I don't know where you get that from. But yet they got the money from you. Or they got the money from you. Oh, yes, there's people that lie. Self-centered people will line you up, especially with this thing called life insurance. If they find out that you have a whole lot of money in life insurance, they line you up to kill you. They got some self-centered people that will do that. I can't say all, but they have some self-centered people that will kill their own brother, that line their own nephew up for life insurance. And because you have so much money, they'll lie, or what they'll do is they'll line you up to get killed. Invite you somewhere, and then they'll hire somebody, and then they'll go for your life insurance. And they lie they lie in the story and tell their life insurance company that they need the money. That they need the money, and the deed is in their name. Oh, they're self-centered people. They're selfish people. They're only thinking about themselves. Beware of people that have ulterior motives. There are people out there that have ulterior motives that you think that they're for you, but they always have when they're doing something for you, there's always something in for them. They're not only just doing it for you, they have ulterior motives. You think that they're helping you out, but it's in it but they see they're opportunists. They think it's for them. They're doing it for them, technically for them. So don't ever think that a person that's self-centered, that they're helping you out. Trust me, there's always a way of them getting them always gaining from you while you're trying to help them out. It's called ulterior motives. In other words, you believe that they're helping you out, but there's always something in it for them too, as well. And they usually don't make good mates either, as well. They don't make good mates. They're always in trouble with their mate, because you know why? They make decisions without confining with their mate too. That's another thing too. Self-centered people never make decisions collaborating with their mates, or if they never do. First of all, they make moves. As man and woman, they will make a move, make a decision, but don't even consider that. Well, how would my mate, or how would my husband, or how would my boyfriend or girlfriend, how would this affect them? They'll make a decision with you're not in the decision making. You'll be left out the decision that they make. And you have to, those are mental notes that you got to take when you're in relationships. Is this person, when he makes a decision, when she makes decisions, do they consider you? Or they just make moves without you in it? Or they make decisions and you're not involved in it? I believe I got number 4. Now let's go into number 5. This is 5 ways to know someone is selfish. Using manipulation tactics. That's number 5. Using manipulation tactics to get what they want. And I said that earlier about manipulation. They'll lie to get what they want out of you. They manipulate you, like I said before earlier. They'll lie to you and say that, oh, I have a serious matter in my family, and I need you to help me out. Manipulate you. But it's not true. They'll use it. They'll squeeze what you ever have in your pocket. Or what they do is they'll use you. They'll use you all right, and they'll take whatever they'll even time. They'll waste your time. There's self-centered people that just don't care what you gotta do. They're always concerned about what they gotta do. So what they do, they talk once again. They're talking about themselves, but they'll waste your time. They'll hold you. They say, "Listen, I gotta go." Still holding you, wasting your time, and time is a very precious thing. Knowing that you gotta make an appointment, knowing that you got something to do, knowing that you gotta meet your family somewhere, knowing that maybe you gotta get up early in the morning to run to a job. They don't consider that. It's always about them. They don't consider that, well, let me close up this meeting early. Let me consider the other people that have to get up early in the morning. They don't consider that. It's always about me, and my time. They're never concerned about nobody else's time. And they'll manipulate you to make you feel guilty. To say, oh, well, what they're telling you is extremely important. It's more important than what you got to do. It's more important what you got to do. And that's manipulative, and that's inconsiderate. And there's people like that. You know they know that you got to get up in the morning. Or let's say if you go to an event, you're throwing an event. They're throwing an event. Knowing that you got to get somewhere. Let's say if you got to travel far. You're at the event right now and you know you got 4 hours to drive back. 4 to 5 hours to drive back. Or you just got to get up early in the morning. Or you know that you have small children. You got to get to the babysitter. You know what a self-centered person will do? Hold you. It's all about me, all about my time. They hold you to the event and they ask you, where you going? I said, listen, I got to get home. And then they say, why you leave? And they ask you, why you leave me at this time? Although they know that you have a family, although you know that somebody else is watching your children, they don't consider that. It's all about Dolo, what I got to do. Always what I got to do. They can never consider the other person. And if they do something for them, trust me, it's an ulterior motive that is for them too. It's never genuine. It's never, well, let me see if I can help you out. You don't owe me nothing. It's always what they can get out of it. That's a self-centered person. So at this moment, at this time, I'm going to recap what I've gathered in my notes about what the 5 ways to know that somebody is selfish. Number 1 is having no regard to how their behavior impacts others. That's number 1. Number 2, consistently acting in their own self-centered interests instead of meeting the needs of others. That's number 2. Number 3, having no empathy for the suffering of other people. That's number 3. Number 4, Number 4, showing no remorse when they are hurt or people are hurt or suffering. They show no remorse. That's a self-centered person. And I believe this is number 5. Using manipulation tactics to get what they want. That's number 5. So I believe I got all 5. I covered all 5. Let me know in the comment if I missed any, but I think that's all 5. I think I counted 5 with that one, but those are all those things that I just read to you is self-centered people. They don't consider others. They're inconsiderate. And if you're in a relationship, you'll know them. You'll get to know. If you have that person, because usually the people that are considerate, you'll know if they're considerate or not. Of your feelings. When they tell you to stop, you stop. Let's say if you are in a relationship and you're with somebody and they know that you don't like something and they keep doing it over and over, they're not considering your feelings. They're not considering how you feel. They just keep doing it over. They're just doing what they like to do. They're just doing what they don't care about how you feel. They just know that that's what they want to do, and they just do it anyway, not considering your feelings. That's a selfish person. And you warned them already about, listen, I don't like this. I don't like when you do that. Listen, I don't like when you do this. And they still are not stopping. You gotta reconsider that relationship because they're not respecting you. And respect is big in a relationship. It's big. Because if you don't respect me, how can you love me? Respect is very big in a relationship. So always consider the other person's feelings. And then when let's say if somebody dies or somebody, you show no remorse. It's always about me, me, me. What I gotta do. Not even telling the group of people, well, my condolences. Well, I gotta get somewhere. I gotta do what I gotta do. Always be remorseful. Always try to show kindness. Strive to show kindness. And always be considerate. There's people, I know when I'm driving sometimes, you see these people, you would drive. And maybe where you live, sometimes but the streets, some streets are wide, but in New York City, some of the streets are smaller. And a lot of places in New York City, they'll stop and right in front of you when I'm driving, right behind them. They'll stop right in front of you just to talk to somebody. They won't even pull over to the left or pull over to the right. They'll stop right in the midst to call somebody, hey, get over here, hey, got a Leo, what's up, where you been? To talk to you in the midst of you driving behind them and other people behind me. They'll stop in the midst, get out their vehicle to talk to somebody while people are honking their horn. They're not being considerate. Or I've seen people do this. If you're driving, you've been parked and they just block you in, knowing that you're sitting in the car, they just block you right in, thinking that you're not gonna leave, that you don't need to leave, and they just get out their car and just leave you stuck. You're just stuck because you can't leave because their car is in the way. There's people that do that. So let's be considerate. Let's be considerate to others. Be considerate. Let's be considerate. I know it's hard for some people to be considerate because some people only think about themselves. The only concern with with themselves. They not only don't keep a good relationship, they usually don't keep friends around either so much. Because friends figure you out. You've been around a friend a long time and they see how you behave with them. For example, I know I'm rabbling along, but there's so much to impact on inconsiderate people. Let's say you go on a trip and had a friend that went on a trip to Dublin, Ireland, and she hung around this friend. They both went on a trip. They went to attend a game show. They was both called to do a game show, and she's sitting and they're gonna eat food. They're gonna go to this restaurant. They're gonna eat food. The friend, no, she had her friend. The friend did not want to put in any money to pay the bill for the food. They didn't want to put any money down to pay the food. So what the other girl did is she wound up paying the whole bill. And not a moment on their trip, she was left behind. In other words, a friend jumped on the bus and didn't even wait for her. She was like, yo, I gotta go. I don't want to even stay out there. I see you talking to these strange people, so I'm gonna just leave. Left her friend in the restaurant because she was talking to strangers and maybe got friendly with them. So she just got up and she just left and jumped on the bus and just left. And you know what? At the end of the trip, they're no longer talking to each other because she found out that her friend was inconsiderate. She just think about herself. Just think about herself, and that's it. Inconsiderate. And you'll meet people out there, and I'm sure all of us have met people that's inconsiderate, very inconsiderate. Call you wee hours in the morning, knowing that you gotta get up in the morning, or call you wee hours in the morning, knowing that like, let's say if a woman or man, either or, they're calling knowing that you got a wife. They're calling you like 2 a.m. in the morning because they're going through something. Not considering that your wife gonna be wanting to know, well, why is she calling you this late? Or vice versa. You're telling the friend friend waiting for you. You said you're gonna meet the friend, and he's waiting for you to meet him somewhere, and you don't no call, no show. That's being inconsiderate. That's being self-centered and selfish. Well, the live word today is coming out of 2 Timothy, verses 3, verses 2. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of self, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, and unholy. And that's the time we're living in, ladies and gentlemen. We're living where people are inconsiderate, abusive, disobedient to their parents, don't want to take their parents, especially the parents that are giving you godly advice. I have to say that. I have to say godly advice. If your parents are serving the Lord and they're giving you godly advice, they have people that do not want to think about taking advice from your parents because they're old school and what you know everything. There's arrogance. People just lovers themselves. They're arrogant and they're inconsiderate and disobedient and ungrateful. There's people that have it all. They're not thankful for what they have. How can God, if you're not thankful for what you have, for the little that you have, how can God bless you with bigger gifts? God cannot bless you with bigger gifts if you're not grateful for what you have. Well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless. And if you like what I said and enjoyed this content, smash the like button. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'll be coming to you with more videos. Thank you for tuning in. God bless and be safe. Peace and blessings, y'all. This is Zacchaeus.